All right. Um, so this is me playing Final Girl once again. This time I'm going to be playing as Yuki. She has 6 health, needs 4 victims to unlock her ultimate ability. Her rewards for saving victims are to move 1 space, take a Furious Strike card from the shop, gain 2 time, um, or heal 1 HP. I am playing against the Organism at Station 2891. So Station 2891 is an Arctic research station. Um, it is an Arctic research station. There is only one exit instead of there being multiple exits around the map. There is one exit that has a helicopter on it. So you need to get victims to that space with the helicopter, and then they will ride the helicopter in this little space here. It can only hold 3 passengers. And then the helicopter will have to fly up to the Arctic airport, where then those victims will be saved, and then the helicopter has to come back to the station before it can pick up more people to save them again. So it takes a very long time to save victims in this at this location. So I might not be doing a ton of that, which means we might not see Yuki's ultimate ability. Another thing that can happen is people that are outside can get frostbite, which will do nothing the first time they get it, but if they get frostbite a second time, they will take a damage, and victims only have 1 health, so any victims that take damage from frostbite will just immediately die. But the killer can also get frostbite. Now, in order to make up for the fact that it is extremely hard to save people at this location, you actually start with a 2-way radio at this location. You can spend a time to move any victim on the board 1 space of your choosing, and you don't have to be at the helicopter for victims to get on it and leave. You can just use the radio to tell them to get to the helicopter, and then they will go. So I've already, as usual, I've already done all of the setup for everything. Now the Organism is very much a Among Us style killer, where you can see at the start there is no actual killer on the mat. It is just 3 silhouettes of people, because 3 of our victims are a different color and slightly bigger than the other victims. These are exposed victims, and we will have to test them either using a test kit or the lab to test them and see if they are infected or if they've been assimilated and become a mutated monster. And when we test them, we will pull from these test results cards to see if they've been assimilated or not. If they have been assimilated, they will immediately turn into a monstrosity that we have to take care of, or they will be safe and they will just be a normal victim. So, our starting items are a knife in the supply closet, which would be really nice to get. There's a crucifix in the tool shed, which can ignore a horror level increase or end the enemy's movement when they're in an adjacent space. And then at the commander's hut, we have just another 2-way radio. So, with that, our starting event was Who Goes There? which several scientists arrived from another station place one new victim in each outdoor space other than the exit space. So I placed more victims outside than there normally are in this setup. So there's a ton of victims on the board. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Immediately, I'm going to spend 3 time and use 3 uses of my two-way radio, because it can only be used 4 times. I'm assuming it runs out of battery. To pull all 3 of these victims into the space with the helicopter, have them immediately jump into the helicopter and have it start schmovin'. Now I'm going to discard 4 cards to gain 4 time to go up to 7 time. Then I'm going to end my turn, and I'm going to grab a Fly Faster. This is a new card unique to this location. If you get a success, it will move the helicopter 1 space at the cost of 1 time. If you get a double success, it'll move it 2 spaces at the cost of 1 time. If you fail, it'll either make you lose 1 time, or you can lose 2 time and try to do this again. So I'm going to grab that for 1 time. And with 6 time left, I'm going to grab 2 sprints and 2 close calls. I'll go back up to 6. All those will get discarded. And then the killer will go. So since there's no killer at the start, there's nothing to do other than to draw a terror card. Survive at all costs. If there's no mutated organism in play, increase Bloodlust by 1. There's also steps to have the killer target someone, move, and then attack, but there's no killer yet, so we just ignore that part. We're just increasing Bloodlust by 1. Okay. Now, back to me immediately. Oh, wait. So, every turn, normally victims only panic if a victim dies and the killer's in their space. The exposed victims, however, will panic every single turn. So I'm going to go ahead and get a 3 for the first one. So this guy's going to move to the hall. Let's do the guy in the lab next. That's a 2. So they're actually going to stay there. And then this last one, the black meeple, got a 4. It's going to move out into the hallway. Now it's actually back to my turn for realsies. I'm going to sprint. I got a success. Oops. Yep, a success and a partial success. I'm going to go ahead and discard a close call and a walk to make that a double success. And then move 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move into the lab and bring the second guy with me. I'm going to play this so risky for, like, no reason. Because I think it'll make it far more interesting. So that cost 1 time. And now, since I have them in the lab, I can test them immediately for no cost, other than, you know, if they're infected, a little bit of a yikes. So I'm going to grab a test results card. We're going to see if one of them, we'll just say it's the red one I'm testing first, is assimilated or safe. They are safe. So the red one is safe. So we will remove this test card from the potential options. I'll put it up here. And then he's replaced with a yellow meeple to signify that they are safe. So now it is a 50-50 on if the next one is assimilated or not. I really shouldn't risk it, but I'm going to. So we're gonna pull another test results card. See if this one is assimilated or safe. They are assimilated. So this gets shuffled back in with the other one. So the other exposed victim could be assimilated as well. So the gray meeple is going to immediately become assimilated, and they are a fast boy. They are a speedy boy. So I'm gonna grab the speedy boy card, and this is what he is going to look like. So he's going to get a final health token. He has 5 HP. And then he's immediately going to panic. That was a 5. So he's going to panic out into the hallway. That's fine. If I can help it, I would love to get up to the supply closet and grab that knife and then try to kill that organism as quickly as possible and then test the other victim. And then there will be a 50-50 that we just win the game on the spot from there. So I'm going to pass the turn. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn there. I'm going to grab a distraction and a search for 5 time. This will go back up to 6. I will grab all my free cards. 10. Yep, that'll put me at 10 cards exactly. All those will go back into the tableau. And then at the start of the killer phase, this organism is just going to panic again. So I got another 5. So now it's going to panic into this hallway. And we will resolve a card. It's Happy Hour. Panic all victims that are indoors, then move all victims from each hallway into the rec room. So we're going to panic. Let's start with these 2 that are in the hallway already. So that was a 4 and a 3. So one of them will panic into this laboratory. I'm going to lay them sideways so I would know which ones I panicked. The other one's going to panic into this hallway. Then let's panic the one in the lab with me. It's a 4. It's going to panic into the radio room. Let's go with this guy next. That's a 1. So he's going to panic into this hallway as well. We'll panic this exposed meeple. It's also a 1. He's going to panic outside. We'll panic the one in the kitchen. It's a 5. He panics out into the hallway as well. Panic this guy in the hallway. Gets a 3. So he panics into the kitchen. And that is everyone inside that has panicked. Technically these panic too, but they're gonna panic into the hallway and then they just go right back into the rec room anyway, so I don't have to panic them. So panic all victims that are indoors, move all victims from each hallway to the rec room. So this guy's in the hallway, rec room, everyone goes into the rec room. These guys stand back up, and then the killer is going to target the nearest victim, move, and then kill. So this guy's going to move into the rec room and kill one of them. Blood loss will go up, and then the killer is going to panic immediately. It gets a 3, but it's going to stay in there. And then everyone outside will get a frostbite token, and then the helicopter will move. So where are my frostbite tokens? Oh, they're right here. So this exposed victim will get a frostbite. This guy will get a frostbite. This guy will get a frostbite. And this guy will get a frostbite. And then the helicopter will move 1 space. And then we move to the panic phase, and all 4 of these guys in the rec room are going to panic, so I'm going to need more dice. Okay, so we have a 1, 2, 4, and 6. So they only panic out on a 4 or a 6, so 2 of them panic, 2 of them freeze. And then the exposed meeple will panic as well. So we'll just roll this. Gets a 1. So he will actually panic straight back inside. And then after the panic phase is the upkeep phase, and anyone inside will lose their frostbite during the upkeep phase. So he's just going to... He got his frostbite, said, it's too cold out here, ran straight back inside. Okay. Well... I have a little bit of a conundrum, because okay. I think I'm going to spend my last 2-way radio use and 1 time to move this exposed victim from this hallway into this hallway. So that'll get rid of my 2-way radio. And then I'm going to sprint. It's 2 partials. I just need 1 success, so I'm going to discard a short rest and a weak attack to move 1... Oh wait, no, I do need a triple. I'm going to discard 2 focuses then as well to make it a double success. To go 1, 2, 3 for 1 time, taking the exposed victim with me. Then I'm going to search this space and hopefully find something. That is a success. For another time, I get the knife in the supply closet, and I get a test kit from the supply closet as well. And since I'm in here with a knife, actually, I'm going to discard the fly faster action to gain 1 time, just in case. And now I'm going to test this last victim. It's a 50-50 on whether or not they are assimilated or safe. So we will either have 2 killers running around, or just 1 if this guy's safe. Oh, that's safe. So just 1. Just 1 organism running around. So this guy's safe. I lose the test kit, because the only way to test them outside of the lab is with the test kit, and then you lose it. So now it's just this guy. It's just this guy over here with 5 HP that I need to kill. That should be so easy. So I'm going to pass the turn with my 4 time. I'm going to grab... I'm going to grab another distraction and a close call, and I think I'm going to try to lower the horror level and gain a bunch of time to grab some attack cards, and then run over there and start beating the shit out of him. That's the plan. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so the only thing that this killer does during the killer phase, they don't move or attack, they just panic. So I'm going to roll a die, see if they panic out of that space or not. They get a 3, but they only leave on a 4 through 6. So they stay in there with those 2 guys, and then we pull a terror card. It must be you! So if there are any victims in your space, take 1 damage per victim. You may defend. I'm just going to take 1 damage from that victim that I just tested and proved safe. They are beating the shit out of me, so that's fun. And then in each space with at least 2 victims, and at least 1 is a normal victim, 1 normal victim is killed. So 1 of these is killed, which will increase the bloodlust, and then he will kill a victim in his space, which will increase the bloodlust again, causing him to panic. He gets a 1, so he still stays there. And then there's 2 victims over here, so 1 of those dies, increasing the bloodlust again, which will reveal a new event card. What's up, Doc? I get to choose a victim, they become the doctor, and then if I am in the same room as the doctor during the upkeep phase, I heal 2. But if the doctor is ever killed, the bloodlust is increased by an additional 1. So I'm going to make the victim I'm already with become the doctor. They're represented by this little blue meeple. So now there's no one else that is paired with anyone else. Then the killer moves into a space with the victim. They're already in a space with a victim, though. I don't even know if you can see that, actually. There we go. Yeah, he's already in a space with the victim over there. And that's all that happens for that card. Then we enter the panic phase, and this guy is in a space with the killer when people have died, so he gets a 4, so he successfully gets the hell out of there. Finally. So that was a lot that just happened. And then during the upkeep phase, I am in the same space as the doctor, so I'm going to heal that 1 HP that I lost back. Okay. Cool. I'm now going to use a distraction to try to lower the horror level and gain some time. That is just a partial, not what I was looking for. I will discard 2 cards to make it a success. And then I'll play my other distraction that I have, hoping for a better roll. I'd like to actually roll some successes without having to discard. That's more what I'm looking for. I'm not going to make that a double success, because that would have to get rid of the cards in my hand. I'm just going to decrease by 1 and increase time by 1. That'll put me at 8 time. And then is 5 HP, huh? I'm gonna spend 4 time. No, I'm gonna spend 6 time on a critical blow and 2 time on a sprint. So that'll use all 8 of my time, and I'll grab all my cards back. And this should be, in theory, if I just simply roll successes, I will be able to move into the space with the killer, and then deal 5 damage and win the game, ideally. So, the killer is going to panic, first and foremost. They get a 4, so they do leave that rec room, following these guys into the hallway. Get a new terror card. It just absorbed them. So it moves into the space with the nearest victim and then kills 2 of them. If a victim was killed, the mutated organism recovers HP. So it's going to kill the 2 that are in its space, increasing bloodlust by 2 and then healing, and now at max bloodlust it moves to the nearest target and then attacks again. So the nearest target is actually in the kitchen. And then I discard the next terror card instead of raising the bloodlust, because the bloodlust is already at max. Okay. Not ideal. It did run very far away from me. Farther than I would have liked. But we're going to attempt to sprint anyway. That is 1 success. I'll take it. I'll move 2 spaces and lose 1 time. And then I'm going to walk and hope I can get a double success. It's just a partial and a miss. I've just been rolling terribly. I'm gonna try to use a close call to re-roll that miss into something better. Hey, okay. So that's a success and a partial still, but I can discard to make that partial a success. So I will do that to move 2 more spaces at the cost of 1 time. And now I'm going to use, oh gosh, this is very risky if I don't roll a success. But I've got to try. I'm going to use my weak attack and hope I roll a success here. Am I? No, because I'm going to get a walk back anyway. Maybe I shouldn't have spent all those resources to just move into its space and try to kill it. That might have been a little overzealous. We'll try it. Double partial, that's not what you want to see. I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to take 1 damage and then immediately end my turn. Okay, I have 4 time. I'm going to grab... It's only doing 2 damage, so it's pretty much never going to kill me. I'm going to grab a sprint, a close call, and a fly faster. And then hope it doesn't go very far. So first it's going to panic. At a 3, it stays in the room with us. Terror card. Tell me where it is. If there are no victims in play, discard this card and draw another terror card. They're definitely victims. For each victim in your space, you may look through 1 item deck. I have no victims in my space. Horror goes up by 1. Everyone outside takes frostbite damage, and then the helicopter moves. So these both die from frostbite damage. So we're going to discard the next 2 terror cards. And then the helicopter is going to move 1 space. And so these 3 people that I put into the helicopter on turn 1 are finally going to get saved. Which will allow me to take a Furious Strike and gain 2 time. It'll put me at 8. And give me a Furious Strike, which is incredible, actually. And then I'm going to heal the 1 damage that I took. Okay. So that's it for the killer phase. And now we try to kill him. So I'm going to use a critical blow and hope to roll a double success. Ho-ho! We're so good at this game. Okay, so with that double success, this deals 3 damage plus 1 damage from my knife. So it's going to deal 4 damage, putting it down to 1 HP. And reduces the horror level by 1. And because the enemy is now 1 HP, I get another kick of adrenaline because it's weak, and I get plus 1 die to all my rolls. And now I'm going to Furious Strike, and if I just get 1 success, they will die. That's a whole bunch of partial successes, but I can work with that. I'm just going to discard 2 cards to make that a success. To deal 2 damage, which will kill it, reduce the horror level by 1, and then it will end my turn. So it comes down to this final health token. If it's blank, I win. If it has hearts on the other side, it revives, and it gets another turn. It's 3 health. Oh god. Well, it's not over yet. So it gets a white health token, gets 2 HP back. So, not great, and I lose that extra die immediately. But I have 8 time to spend, so I'm going to spend 4 of it on a retaliate in case it attacks me, and then I can kill it. And then with the last 4 time, I'm going to grab another close call for 1, and a... a distraction in case it tries to get away. Okay. So it gets another turn. It's going to panic. This goes back to the 6. Whoops. It gets a 4, so it does leave to the hallway. Terror card is They Just Left. If there are no victims in play, discard this. There are. Remove a normal victim from the game, choosing one in an outdoor space if able, and then raise Bloodlust by 1. There is no one outside, so I'll just remove this one. Raise Bloodlust, which discards another terror card. Then they move toward the nearest victim, which is this guy in the radio room. Then everyone outside gets frostbite, there's no one outside, and then the helicopter moves. And now I've lost all my terror cards, so this is very scary because we're going to trigger the finale now. Which is going to be this card right here. So here we go. Cognitive Assimilation. If there's one mutated organism in play, you must discard 2 action cards at the beginning of the killer phase. If you cannot, you have been assimilated and lose the game. So I have to discard 2 cards at the beginning of each killer phase, or I will lose. And now every turn the killer, instead of panicking, is going to move twice to the nearest target and then attack. But that's totally fine for me. So I'm going to sprint. Actually, no. I'm going to use a distraction immediately to try to lower the horror level again. That's a double miss. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm going to lower the time by 4 to still reduce the horror level by 1, which will give me a... Now I'm in the green, finally. So that'll give me an extra die to use. Now I'm going to use a sprint, rolling 3 dice. And I do get a success. So that'll go 1, 2, losing 1 time. And then I will walk into the killer's space. Attempt to walk into the killer's space, rather. I do get a success, that's all I need. So I'll walk in there, lose 1 time, and then I will weak attack. That's a double success, which means that he will take 2 damage, 1 damage from the weak attack plus 1 from the knife, so he's back down to 1 HP, which means I'll get an additional die to all my rolls, so I'll be rolling 4 dice now. But I unfortunately have no more attacks in my hand, so I'm going to end my turn. I have no time to buy anything, but I'll get my free cards back. But his turn is now completely predictable. So at the start of each turn, each killer phase, I have to discard 2 cards. I will get rid of a short rest and a focus. Because it's not discarded at random. I get to choose which cards are discarded. Then they're going to move to the nearest target and attack, so they're going to kill this last victim. There's been a lot of deaths. But that's all they're going to do. Um, and unfortunately, I still don't have another attack in my hand. Um, so I'm going to pass the turn again. But I am simply going to... I don't know. I'll grab a critical blow. I'm not going to need it, but it'll be funny. And get rid of these other two cards. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 cards in hand. I have to discard 2 cards again. So I will discard a walk and a walk because I don't plan on walking anywhere. And now the organism is going to attack me for 2 damage. And so I'm going to use a retaliate, and if I even just get a single success, it'll block the 2 damage and deal a damage back. So I'm going to roll 4 dice, and all I need is 1 success to win the game. That is a success. That is going to win the game. I could make a double success, but I don't need to. So that is going to remove its final health token and win the game. So that is the organism. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to after I revealed those first 2 victims to be safe. But we still got there in the end, so that's all that matters. So thanks for watching another one of my Final Girl playthroughs. Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. Simple as that.